Okay, so let's dive into this story. It's about a global disaster that almost happened. I'm talking about a digital time bomb, hidden in plain sight, that was literally discovered just weeks before it was set to go off and, well, change the world as we know it.
I mean, just think about that for a second. The keys to pretty much everything, we're talking banks, governments, hospitals, they were this close to being handed over to a single anonymous attacker. Spying, ransomware, taking down entire countries, you name it, anything would have been possible.
So the big question is, how is this even possible, right? How could one single weak link put our entire digital world at risk? Well, the answer, and this might surprise you, isn't just about the code. To really get it, we've got to go back, way back, and look at the whole philosophy the internet was built on in the first place.
And believe it or not, this whole story kicks off with something, well, something we've all felt. One of the most relatable frustrations you can imagine, a constantly jamming office printer.
So this timeline, it's not just a bunch of dates. It's really the story of a philosophical battle for the soul of software itself. You see, we started in this world where code was shared freely, like a digital commons. But then the corporations came in and started building walls, locking it all down. And out of pure frustration, and I mean literally because he couldn't get the code to fix that darn printer, this guy, Richard Stallman, starts a rebellion. And then Linus Torvalds' Linux kernel comes along, and it's like the final piece of the puzzle, creating a totally free alternative to those corporate black boxes.
And this slide, it just brilliantly lays out the two competing worlds that came out of that battle. On one side, you've got proprietary software. Think Windows. It's a black box, right? Controlled by one company. Then on the other side, you've got open source software, like Linux. Here, the code is totally public. Anyone can look at it, improve it, change it. And you know, that openness, that adaptability, that's exactly why Linux now powers most of the internet's servers and literally billions of Android devices.
Okay, so now let's talk about what the attacker was actually after. The grand prize. And it wasn't money, it wasn't data, it was something way more valuable. The master key to the internet itself, a protocol called SSH.
So what is SSH? Well, you can think of it as this super secure encrypted tunnel that lets system administrators manage all the internet's infrastructure. I mean, most web servers, they don't even have a keyboard or a monitor plugged into them. They're all controlled from far away using SSH. So yeah, getting control of that, it's like having a master key to every single server room in the world.
All right, so here's the magic trick. How do you create a secret key when you have to assume an attacker is listening to your every move? The solution is it's brilliant. It's like this paint analogy you see here. First, two people agree on a public paint color, one everyone can see. Then, they each secretly mix in their own private color. They exchange these new mixes out in the open. And then for the final step, they each add their original private color one last time. And what you get is, well, it's kind of miraculous. They both end up with the exact same secret color, a color that the eavesdropper who saw everything except those private colors can never, ever create.
And that brings us to the crime itself, a plot that unfolded over years. And it wasn't about breaking some super sophisticated encryption. No, this was about breaking a person. This right here, this is the fundamental weakness of the open source world. You see, critical pieces of our global infrastructure, something like a data compression tool called XZ, can depend entirely on the thankless, unpaid work of just one volunteer. In this case, that one person was a man from Finland named Lasse Collin. So for almost 20 years, Lasse maintained this project, XZ. But recently, he started getting bombarded by this coordinated campaign of aggressive emails. People demanding he work faster, demanding he hand over control. He was just burning out, and he even said his ability to care was limited because of his own mental health struggles. And then, right at his lowest point, this new contributor shows up, someone named Jia Tan. And over several months, Jia was just incredibly helpful, taking work off Lasse's plate, slowly earning his trust, and eventually, an exhausted Lasse just gave Jia control of the project. He had no idea at all, that he just handed the keys to a master criminal. Jia Tan's plan. It was an absolute masterpiece of deception. Okay, so first, the Trojan horse. The malicious code was smuggled inside what are called binary test files. Think of it like digital junk mail that no sane person would ever actually read. Then, you've got the Goldilocks exploit. The attack wasn't some brute force smash and grab. No, it was a surgical strike,
hijacking the SSH login process at one single perfect moment. Not too early, not too late. And finally, the cat burglar. The backdoor was a ghost. It was designed to open only for its creator and then just vanish, erasing every single trace it was ever there. It was a nearly perfect crime.
So, you've got this nearly perfect plan in motion, a backdoor hidden in plain sight, about to be deployed to millions of servers across the globe. So how on earth was it ever discovered?
Well, the answer is this number, half a second. A delay so tiny it would be completely imperceptible to pretty much anyone on the entire planet. You see, our hero isn't some elite cybersecurity expert. He's a database developer named Freund. And while he was just running some routine performance checks, he noticed this tiny 500 millisecond lag whenever he logged in using SSH. It was just weird, and it was something he just couldn't let go of.
And this is where it gets really ironic. The attacker's own meticulous caution, all those extra steps they took to hide the code, to garble the text, to run all these safety checks, that's what created that tiny delay. As Andreas himself said, if the attacker had been less careful, he probably never would have noticed a thing. Their own paranoia was their undoing. Which brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important lesson from this whole thing. Because the real vulnerability that got exposed here, it wasn't in the code at all.
So of course, everyone wants to know, who was Jia Tan? And the evidence is, well, it's all over the place. Some clues point to China, others to Russia. But when you get down to it, it was almost certainly a well-funded nation-state actor that spent 2.5 years executing this plan. But you know what? Focusing on who they were kind of misses the bigger picture.
There's this famous SKCD comic that shows our entire modern digital world balanced precariously on this one tiny little block. A block that's being maintained by some random person. The XZ attack wasn't just a hack, it was that comic coming to life.
And this is the real heart of the matter. The attack didn't just exploit a flaw in the code, it exploited a person. It literally weaponized burnout. Lasse gave the world this beautiful gift, and in return, our system of endless demands and constant pressure, it allowed an attacker to just step right into the void he left behind.
So this whole near catastrophe, it forces us to ask a really fundamental question. Our modern world, so much of it, runs on the free labor and the passion of countless volunteers. It's a world built on gifts. So the question is, are we doing nearly enough to support and protect the people who give them?